Alright, today we're going to make a whiskey barbecue sauce. It's a pretty simple procedure. Most barbecue sauces are done very, very similarly. My ingredients are, I got onions, I got some garlic, I've got some apple cider vinegar, brown sugar, tomato paste, Canadian Club whiskey, and some very, very hot chili paste. So I got a hot pan right here, it's smoking hot. I'm going to toss my onions right in. I'm going to try and caramelize these guys, bring up some of that natural sugar. There is a slight difference between caramelization and burning. You don't want to burn them. Burning brings on bitter flavors. Caramelized brings on sweet. So essentially, I'm just going to move these around this hot pan until they start to brown up. Our onions are they're nice and dark. I now have some garlic that I've crushed up. I haven't minced it up or anything because at the end of this recipe I'm going to end up hitting it with the mixer. So I'm just going to cook these guys slightly. I didn't want to throw them in before the onions or even really early on in the onion cooking just because I didn't want them to caramelize because they will definitely, burnt garlic is very bitter. Trust me, you got to burn a lot of garlic at some point in life to really appreciate how awesome it is without it being burnt. Next, I'm going to deglaze my pan with apple cider vinegar. I'm going to toss that right in there. Now I've got a wooden spoon for deglazing. Just scrape off little tiny pieces of caramelized onion that may have stuck to the bottom of the pan. That's going to take up all that flavor. Wooden spoon is better than like a stainless steel spoon. It's basically a stainless steel spoon, steel on steel. You're going to get a little tiny scraping from steel. You might not notice it at first, but I think the end result could probably end up tasting it a little bit. Have like a very slight tinny. I mean, you almost have to look for it, but. So I got that. Then I'm going to throw in my brown sugar. It may look like a lot of brown sugar, and that's because it is a lot of brown sugar. So I just threw a lot of garlic in there, or a lot of vinegar, and you need something to offset. You want that tang, but you also want the sweet and sour. That's going to melt in there very nicely. And then I've got my tomato paste. Got a whole can here. Now there's also some other things you can throw in with any barbecue sauce you have. You can, like for sweetness, you can offset it with honey or maple syrup, or even certain dried fruits like, say, I don't know, dried figs or prunes. Molasses also commonly goes into a lot of barbecue sauces. Same with mustard, whether Dijon, grainy, or just regular ballpark mustard would work. It's a blank slate that anybody can work with. Just do it to your taste, really. I wouldn't limit it to herbs. I don't know. You could put basil in it. Basil would be nice. Just make sure you throw it in at the end. Instead of tomato paste, also you can use ketchup, but you'd also have to not throw in as much sweetness because there is a ton of sugar in ketchup, as well as the salt content's probably going to be pretty high if you use ketchup, especially where it's such a large amount of ketchup. We're just going to let this guy simmer for, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. I'm going to reduce the heat just a touch because I got it almost at like a rolling boil temperature right now. It doesn't need to be there. I also have some soy sauce I'm going to throw in. Very salty. Worcester, also quite salty. And finally, or sorry, not finally, whiskey. I'm going to pour that right in. And I got a little dab of hot sauce, not a whole lot. I do want it to be hot, but this is our crazy hot sauce, so it's almost overpowering. So you just really need a dab. It depends on what you use. If you use like sambal or sriracha, then you can probably use a little bit more. That's not quite as hot. I'm just going to stir this guy around. For our final step, just going to mix it up. Alright, give it a quick blend. You can use a food processor. Even if you diced up your onions and minced up your garlic at first, you don't even really have to zip it. You can just go right on with it. And that's your barbecue sauce. It's really simple. It's really easy to do. It's not really a whole lot of mess. Don't wear white.